So there's 3 basic approaches to pricing. I think this is pretty basic. I'm sure most of you know this. So there's cost plus pricing. We pricing professionals sniff over cost plus pricing, but it is easy to do. Right? The problem is it doesn't, you're really looking at your navel, you're looking internally, you're not really helping externally. Competitive pricing, now at least we're looking outside the company, so that's an advantage. But we're not really thinking about our differentiation. We're not, competitors' prices might not be right, and it's certainly not profit optimal. So value pricing is the gold standard. It is profit optimal. We do think about everything. If you're doing it right, think about everything that might associate with value. You get a consistent price structure, but it is a lot of work. I mean, there's no way around it. It's a lot of work. It's difficult, and so value-based pricing is the gold standard. But all 3 of these have some application, and we'll go into that now. Customers don't buy products; they buy the benefits that these products and their suppliers offer to them. So Peter Drucker said this, and he was a smart guy, so I put it up. I like to think I'm a smart guy too sometimes, except when I'm being stupid. So my answer to that is customers buy based on perceived value, even if a company doesn't price and sell based on the value. Right? So if you're looking out there to buy a shirt, and if the shirt's price is just too high, you don't buy it, right? Because the value isn't there for you. So value and differentiated value is really, really important. So we can think of, I think of these pricing approaches being like a triangle. You've got 3 dimensions, and you can be anywhere. A company can be anywhere in this triangle, so they can have a mix, right? That's the point. So sometimes cost plus is more important. Other times value pricing is more important. So value pricing really dominates when it's a highly differentiated product, unique selling value, low competition. Competitive pricing tends to dominate when it's there's a supply-demand dynamic going on. So you've got oil. Well, I'll do some examples in a second, right? But basically, when everyone's looking around what everyone else is charging for the price and figuring out what the price should be. Low differentiating products and many competitors. And then cost-plus pricing tends to be undifferentiated products, excess supply, and low market discipline. So, and what you tend to find is that there's sort of drivers between these. So value pricing, competitive intensity, more people selling stuff that's your product loses differentiation, you tend to end up at competitive pricing. If you have excess supply, then you end up at cost-plus. And if you can get some market discipline, so when it's a smaller number of competitors, I really hate this. The notion of we're going to win a price war is just really destroys so much value and should be avoided in most cases. So just some examples. So let's do quick shout out stuff here. Example of really like pure value-based pricing. Apple. Yeah. Apple Watch, I would say.
High-end fashion.
Sorry?
High-end fashion.
High-end fashion. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Pharmaceuticals. Excellent. Good. Yeah, these are examples, right? There's really no choice what you're going to buy. Some of them are pharmaceuticals is a bit coercive because that's a different story. But yes. How about something in the middle there? So something that's got some differentiation, but it's got competitive pricing. There's some competitive element. Samsung. Well, you could say iPhones now, right? I think, in fact, well, specialty chemicals, right? They're differentiated, but they're not unique, is often the case. Pure competitive pricing. Airlines. Electronics, yeah. Electronic components, yeah. Automotive parts. What did I write? Crude oil. Right? The price of oil's got nothing to do with how much it costs to make, and it's got nothing to do with the value. It's what everybody else is selling it for. Right? Somewhere between cost plus and competitive. So we're in a fairly undifferentiated space here, right? Commodity chemicals, I think, right? They vary from competitive pricing down to cost plus when the market's really bad. So cost plus, steel today. Right? Steel prices are in the tank, right? Steel mills are closing all over the place because there's excess supply, so you end up with the variable cost. And then the last one, I took a long time to think about this one, but actually things like configure to order products, configured products fit this. So if you're doing packaging, you might have packaging needs like this, 3 layers, 5 layers, 7 layers, printed colors, la 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 la. There's not standard products, so they have a cost plus element to them, but they also have a value element to them. You could also say cost plus pricing down here would be like DHL or FedEx, right? Because they, at the end of the day, not the standard products, but if you're a company and you want to ship your components every week from China to the US, then it's a configured product. So this is really helpful because this has implications on the pricing strategy, and it has implications on what they need to help them do pricing better, so what should be in the software, right? So if it's value pricing, then understanding the customer value, understanding the value segments, and basing pricing on value is the most important thing, right? Apple, when they're designing the Apple Watch, I should get one. When they're designing the Apple Watch that I don't have here, as long as they're making enough margin, the cost to make it is not relevant and not a factor, right? It's just about the value. Actually, the memory in phones is interesting, right? Because the price of it costs $100 per 64 gig or something, right? It's got nothing to do with the cost. That stuff costs nothing. But the value is people want more memory and they'll pay for it because they really love their iPhone. So value pricing is generally there's some value pricing in every model, I would say, but it may not be the most important part. When you're at competitive pricing, it's about tracking different prices and dynamically changing prices as the market changes. And when you're in a cost-plus zone, then it's understanding the cost structure, understanding competitors' cost structure as well, and then tracking what's happening with costs, and then managing the plus is the part that gets lost. So the most important part if you're in a cost-plus is making sure you understand the cost. There's a lot of potential for companies to do much better on the plus part. And you should be doing that too. So asking a customer where they are, having a sense of where they are on this, and that can help you decide what should be in the pricing model.